Welcome to the podcast, where we introduce you to incredible humans who share their journeys with the mission to inspire you to harness your own inner tenacity to drive your life and career forward. And now, your host, Adam Posner.
So I don't know where this is going to air in the sequence, but this is our 10th and final interview on day one. And we are ending with something special. We're going to end with the icing on the cake over here. Laurie Ruettimann, welcome back to the podcast.
I'm thrilled to be here. Always an honor to catch up with you. Like, what's new? What's good?
What is new? What is good? Well, we'll find out a little bit later what's new, what's good. But it's not about me right now.
Oh, okay.
It's about you. But what is good is our friends over at Greenhouse, and I'd be remiss if I didn't thank them for having us all here. And I looked over there before you came on. And it was just like an OG homie hangout. But isn't that what's cool about events like this? Like, there really is. You've been to a million of these.
Yeah.
I love seeing everyone together.
I do too. And I think especially after COVID, I have a new appreciation for coming together and really feeling our feelings and being honest and not sugarcoating it. So we don't have to talk about talent or technology. We can talk about like what our kids are doing or where we've been on vacation, right? Like all the good things are up for discussion. It's amazing.
You know what? It's enough. I'm done talking about AI. I'm done talking about DEI and B. I'm just done with it. And Laurie was one of my earlier guests, and I think you were, if I'm guessing, somewhere between 100 and 200. And I go back to our conversation. I replayed our show a couple of times. It was so real and genuine. I'm like,
Thank you.
just a fucking badass. And there's badasses in this industry, and badass is a good thing because you are a disruptor.
Well, I try to be. You know, I've done a lot of therapy in my life, so I know what is like early childhood trauma and what's real. And I am really angry about some things in this world. I'm angry about injustice. I'm angry about mediocrity.
Yes.
I'm angry about laziness.
Fuck laziness.
All of it. But I'm also truly lazy and mediocre as well. So I don't know.
So
just
am I.
opening it all up and trying to just observe more and take it all in. So
I'm trying to be more intentionally lazy.
Oh, I like that.
I'm giving myself the space to be lazy.
I think that's fair. You know, I always tell people, if you're all things all the time, you're boring. And you need to open up space to just like goof off and make space for like mistakes in your life, but also joy. And I don't know, I think part of what I bring to the world is that I make it okay to be a slacker. Like nobody gives 110% anyway, right? You know, when you give 110%, you're just weird.
And you're tired.
Give me 62%, but make it your best 62%, and then like go eat ice cream.
Oh, wait, hold on. Angela's right there. Give her a pass.
Oh.
So 70% of the time it works every time, Laurie.
Yeah.
Remember that one.
It's true.
Wow, we have so much to talk about, and that I don't even want to talk about this stuff here. You mentioned retired. So if you're retired, why the hell are you here?
Well, I'm not fully retired. I still like money and I still spend a lot,
Right.
you know, so.
Semi-retired.
Right, semi-retired. I do the things that I want to do, but I'm retired from pretending that buzzwords are cool.
Fucking hate buzzwords.
You know, I'm retired from all the hype. There's no hype around work. Work is work. Work is
it's
important.
a necessity, but your purpose is good.
Correct. And I like people who solve big problems and have big ideas, but I also like people who just, I don't know, fuck around and find out. So I follow that in my life more than I follow someone who's supposed to be famous. Like, that's not interesting to me anymore.
We still doing the punk HR thing?
I am heavily covered in tattoos, so I will always be punk rock HR, but I'm also just a middle-aged woman, you know? So I do the podcast from time to time when there are interesting people in the world, but I do it on my terms. I'm not like chasing sponsors. I'm not, you know, like...
It's a grind.
It is a grind, and I appreciate people like you who are excellent. I'm okay at it. I'm not great.
It's my business. I mean, but I love it, and I enjoy the conversations, and I made it my business. So I'm moving towards my purpose.
I love that. You know, I felt that way about writing for many years. I started out blogging, and I'm like, I'm going to make money at this, and I kind of ruined my love of writing. So I've been going back to just hitting the blog every once in a while, hitting the newsletter.
Is it cathartic?
It is, and it brings me joy. It brings me joy.
You find your creative outlet. Your first book, Betting on You, that's what we talked about when you're on. What opportunities has that book opened up for you?
Well, that book made me notorious in a lot of ways. That book also opened up a lot of conversations about well-being. So I work with a lot of well-being companies actually who approach me and say, can you look at this? Can you explore this with us? Is this right? Is it authentic? And I think that's helpful for the HR buyer who has been told that, no, this portal will solve your problems with your
The
workforce.
tech is going to solve all of our problems.
Yeah. And sure enough, it doesn't. Didn't solve my problem, won't solve yours. So yeah.
Something's
So
here
the
and
book has opened up a lot of opportunities to just make a difference.
Well, the book opened up another book. Let's talk about Corporate Drinker. What's the full title?
Thank you. Yeah, I have been a corporate drinker in my life. And so I come from it from a perspective of humility, right? I've been out at these parties, out at these events, had too much to drink, and I've had friends have to bring me back to my room. And those days are over for me.
You don't want to be that person.
No, but I'm also fun. It only takes a couple of drinks. That's the danger with someone like me. So...
Hey everyone, we'll jump right back into the conversation, but first let's talk about a game changer in hiring, Greenhouse. Greenhouse is the leading hiring platform that helps companies get measurably better at hiring. Because when it comes to building great teams, every hire should be the right hire. With Greenhouse, you don't just fill roles, you transform your hiring with a structured process that ensures fairness, removes bias, and enables data-driven decisions. AI-powered workflows in Greenhouse streamline every step from sourcing top talent to personalizing the candidate experience, allowing recruiters to focus on strategic, high-impact hiring that drives real business outcomes. The result? A faster, more efficient process that turns talent into a true competitive advantage. Over 7,500 companies, including HubSpot, Duolingo, Gong, JD Power, and Scout24, trust Greenhouse to optimize their hiring process and take candidates from talented prospects to top performers. And it's not just the best hiring platform, it's also a great place to work. Greenhouse has been recognized by Fortune, Inc. magazine, Glassdoor, Forbes, and more as a top workplace. Want to hire better, faster, and more fairly? Visit greenhouse.com today and get ready to hire for what's next. All right, back to the show.
So let's talk about this
Yeah.
book. We know the reason behind it. What's it all about? Who's it for?
So the book is actually on hiatus right now.
Well, what do you want it to be about?
I want to tell real stories about the intersection of work and alcohol. And now is not the time to do that when the world is really focused on the opposite of inclusion and the opposite of belonging. We're going back to a culture that was really masculine back in the 80s and 90s. So my book, it's not the right time for it, but it will be written and I will get it out there. But I'm interested.
On your time.
I'm interested in any of your fun work drinking stories. Do you have any?
What is fun to share on a work drinking story?
I'll give you one.
Well,
If you're...
you go first, and I'm
Okay.
going to think about that for
All
a moment
right.
here, because I'm usually had too many drinks to remember what made it a good story. But in a nutshell, I think that for me, listen, historically, drinking has been a social lube in business,
Yeah.
right? Same thing with golf, same thing with these other things
Yeah.
too. And you almost feel like you have to and compelled towards it. And I really love the movement. I have so many friends, male and female, and non-binary, that are
Yeah.
saying, you know what? I'm done drinking, and it doesn't inhibit my work performance. I'm not being shamed, and we're moving away from this stigma. And so one of the moves that I do, and I've been practicing a little bit here. Listen, also, you know what? If you want to drink, it's okay to drink. If you want to have a drink, don't shame me for having a drink. In the same breath, I know when, at a work event like this, I do a new move.
Yeah.
Every other drink is a drink.
I love it.
And in the in-between, I do this. I love tequila.
Yeah.
That if I'm drinking a club soda with lime, you have no idea that it's not.
No, we have no clue. We have
Right?
no clue.
And or what I'll do is another pro tip is I also love scotch and bourbon, and it's okay to say that I love scotch and bourbon.
Yeah.
But what I'll do is I'll put a splash of club soda in it to make it last a little bit longer.
I like it. You're
So
nursing
those are some
it.
tactical tips
Yeah,
that I have.
yeah.
What's your story?
Well, I want to go beyond that because one of the things I hear you talking about is this new movement away from alcohol, and it's true, but it's being, I think, supplanted by weed. And
Yes.
it's like, okay, you're still in an avoidance mode here.
You're still inebriated to some degree.
Correct. And also, just because you don't like to drink with people at work doesn't mean that you don't like to drink on your own.
It
And
also means I may not want to get high with people I work with.
but you'll still get high with, on your own. So I think we need to talk about some root causes here.
Let's get into that.
What people are trying to avoid when they're trying to make themselves feel better about work. And the fact is work sucks and is very difficult. So I get it. I have a lot of sympathy for it.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah.
So when do you think you're going to get back into the book?
I'm not sure, but in the meanwhile, I'm just getting back into me. So you talked about the retired life, right?
Yeah, what's that look like?
Looks pretty good. Looks like
Pretty good.
looks like therapy.
Yeah.
Looks like therapy. Looks like exercising and working out. But it also looks like reconnecting with people that I've missed. People like you, right? So this opportunity here, I'm like, okay, it's a job. I get paid, right? All that kind of good stuff.
It's a gig.
Great. But I also get to see you. So how could I say no to stuff like that?
Oh my God.
So that's when I say
I'm
yes.
honored.
So retired means choice.
Oh my God, and time and freedom and the ability to do that and be good for the back 9 of your life.
Right. But, I ate a lot of shit in the front 9 to get where I am today. So that's how that goes,
Pro tip for surviving a conference like this. You've been to a zillion of them.
Well, I like your idea about water. I think that's really good. But I also think boundaries are really important. Don't forget who you are when you come to a conference. I think so many people do. They slip into this mode of a new guy, the fun guy, be you consistently. And if you need to go to bed, go to bed.
I did that last night. First of all, I recognized that I was exhausted. I recognized that I'm here to work.
Yeah.
And I wanted to show up today as my best self.
Yeah.
And I owe it to my listeners, I owe it to my guests, I owe it to our partners over at Greenhouse to not show up like a fucking disaster.
Yeah, I think that's
Imagine
right.
I showed up and I was like,
no.
Laurie,
we don't like that energy.
what the fuck's going on in your life?
Well,
you can't do that.
No.
And it's not my brand, and it's not who I am. It's also not how I want my reputation to be.
Right.
Because if I show up like that, no one's going to book Adam to do their podcast again.
You know what? I appreciate that you brought up Greenhouse because I have to say something. I'm cynical about a lot of companies out there, too many companies. But Greenhouse, as best as they can, walks the walk and they walk the talk.
Yes.
Their founders, their co-founders are just amazing individuals. I've known them for decades now at this point. And I really appreciate the fact that they open up a space like this and don't control it, right? They give people the opportunity to come in and talk about the real world of work, the real world of hiring, what happens. So good partnership and a great company.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
Ladies, gentlemen, folks out there, this has been a wrap on day 1 at Transform. I mean, just to recap, we did 10 interviews today. 7 of them were with people that I've known, maybe not had on the show, but had been in my world before. I've had a bunch of new folks that I've been on here. I love these conversations because they're just free-flowing. They're real. Laurie, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Where can folks find you? Where can they connect? Where can they learn more?
They could just Google I hate HR and boy, do I come up. So
Really?
Yeah, but it's
Really?
LaurieRuettimann.com. Yeah.
That's how we do it here on the podcast. Day 1, that's a wrap.
Wisdom is forever, but for us, it's time to go. Thank you for joining us. Luckily, we'll be back with our next episode soon, jam-packed with more incredible humans. Thank you for listening, subscribing, and sharing. To join the conversation, search the podcast on LinkedIn. And to catch up on past episodes and more info, please visit www.thepodcast.com.